Well, good afternoon, Michiganders. It is Tuesday, May 28th, 2024, and this, of course, is Tuesday with Tom, Michigan's only weekly internet show where we do answer your questions about estate planning and estate settlement in Michigan, and we don't send you a bill. I'm your host, Tom Doyle, estate planning attorney, lifelong Michigan resident, and ambassador for all things good in this great state of Michigan. Welcome to today's program and welcome back from your long Memorial Day weekend. Well, last week's episode, do you need a special needs trust for your disabled child? If you have a disabled child and they are on government benefits, some needs-based government benefits, and you're considering your estate plan and whether or not a special needs trust might be appropriate for you as part of your estate plan, I certainly encourage you to listen to last week's episode where I talk about the different types of special needs trusts that could be created for the benefit of your child. And in keeping with that same theme, today's show is why your special needs child should have an MiABLE account. But please remember, what I'm about to discuss during the program, as always, is for educational purposes only. It is not intended to be legal advice. You need to work with your attorney to determine what is appropriate for you and your estate plan. Why your special needs child should have what's called an MiABLE account, MiABLE account. MiABLE stands for Michigan Achieving a Better Life Experience. It's a program created by the state of Michigan in response to the Federal ABLE Act of 2024. And essentially what that federal law did was it allowed states to create certain tax advantage savings accounts for individuals with disabilities. These accounts enable an eligible individual to save and invest money without jeopardizing their ability for crucial government benefits such as Medicaid and supplemental security income. So the idea being, if you have a special needs child who's on some sort of needs-based government program, you know that there are limitations on how much they can own in order to avoid them losing their government benefits. Well, the purpose of the ABLE Act, and in Michigan, the MiABLE program, is to allow these special accounts to be created that will then enable your special needs child to save and have money invested without jeopardizing their eligibility for government benefits such as Medicaid and SSI. So some key features of the MiABLE accounts. One are the tax advantages. First, tax-free earnings, just like an educational 529 program, or even just like a Roth IRA program, the earnings that the account has inside it grow tax-free. So as contributions are made into the MiABLE account and they increase in value, they will grow tax-free, similar to that 529 educational account or Roth IRA. And just like that 529 educational account, withdrawals that are used for what are called qualified disability expenses are tax-free withdrawals. So some significant tax savings. It grows tax-free, and as long as the proceeds that are in the account are used for qualified disability expenses, those withdrawals will also be tax-free. State taxes, as far in the state of Michigan. There is a state of Michigan tax deduction available to a contribution to an MiABLE account, able to deduct that on your Michigan income tax returns. State income taxpayers can claim up to $5,000 deduction for single filers and $10,000 for joint filers for MiABLE contributions. So the parent, if they are going to be making contributions in that account, can take advantage of these Michigan income tax deductions as well. The funds that are in the MiABLE account, though, aren't going to count as assets when determining eligibility for programs like Medicaid and SSI. That's the whole point of creating them, is to have funds in an account that will protect the child's eligibility for programs like Medicaid and SSI, so long as, this is an important consideration, there cannot be more than $100,000 total in the child's MiABLE account. So as long as you stay under that $100,000 total in that account, those assets that are in that account are not going to disqualify them from federal programs like Medicaid and SSI. There's also fairly broad flexibility in what those funds are going to be able to use for. When you look at what qualified disability expenses are, it's going to include things like education, health and wellness, housing, transportation, legal fees, financial management, employment training and support, assistive technology, personal support services, oversight and monitoring services, and funeral and burial expenses. So there's a broad range of expenses that are going to qualify for using those proceeds. And as I said, when the funds are withdrawn from the account for those qualified disability proceeds, it won't be taxable when they're taking out. So a broad range of qualified disability expenses available for your child. Now, there are going to be, as in everything, contribution limits. So I already talked about $100,000 is the total that you can have in that MiABLE account. And side note, a child can only have one MiABLE account. So $100,000 total in that account. There's also, though, going to be annual contribution limits. And in 2024, that annual contribution limit is $18,000 per individual contributions into that MiABLE account in 2024. That amount does get adjusted annually based upon an inflation factor. In addition to that, though, if your child is working and they have that disability, that disabled child, can contribute an extra amount, which would be up to $12,060 in 2024. That would be coming out of their annual earnings that they can contribute on their own. In addition, though, since the MiABLE account is considered a 529 account by the IRS, well, you have to remember the maximum contribution limit for all Michigan 529 plans for a particular beneficiary is $500,000. So if you have the MiABLE account, which has a total limitation of $100,000, if you had that $100,000 in the MiABLE account, there would be a limitation now of only an additional $400,000 that could actually be in a 529 account. Accounts are pretty easy to manage. They're designed to be user-friendly, not complicated. In fact, You normally qualify to have a debit card, and you'll be able to use that debit card, or your child will be able to use that debit card to make qualifying withdrawals from the account. So they're fairly easy to manage. Additionally, perhaps there are friends and other family members who would like to make contributions under the Michigan program. That's what's called a U-Gift. That's a feature of the ABLE account that allows friends and family to contribute to the account. So in order to do that, you'll find more information at the website. But once you log into your website, there's basically a code that you will have, that your child would have, that they could share with other friends and family members, that they can then use to make online contributions into that child's MiABLE account. So, what are the qualification requirements in order to open an MiABLE account? Basically, your child or the individual is going to have a qualifying disability that was present before the age of 26, and they have to be entitled to benefits based upon blindness or disability under the Social Security Act, or have a similar severe disability that is documented by a physician. So those are the requirements, again, eligibility requirements. A qualifying disability that was present before the age of 26, and second, to be entitled to benefits based upon blindness or disability under the Social Security Act, or have a similar severe disability documented by a physician. Well, if you put all that together, MiABLE accounts can be game changers for your disabled child. Why? Because historically, individuals with disabilities, again, they face strict asset limits in order to maintain eligibility for those critical public funds. Now, with the MiABLE account, they have the ability to have a safe and effective way to build up additional financial security for him or herself. Think about it. Let's say you have a child with cerebral palsy. Before MiABLE accounts, you would perhaps be concerned about saving up money in your child's name, obviously, because if there was too much in your child's name, that child would now not qualify for Medicaid. Now your child, though, can have an MiABLE account where her family contributes regularly to it. The account can be used to cover specialized therapies, perhaps save for a modified vehicle, all different abilities that account be used for to essentially enhance your child's independence and quality of life. So how do you get started? Well, obviously there's a website for everything now, and that website is www.miable.org. That's miable.org. Pretty straightforward. You're going to find information on how to set up the account, how to access funds from the account, what the funds can be used for, what investment options there are going to be. If you kind of look at Michigan's 529 educational programs, where you know there's different investment options available within the 529 plan, similarly, there are going to be different investment options available inside this MiABLE account. So, if you have a special needs child, now, also, one other point, the MiABLE account isn't really designed to replace a special needs trust. It might be appropriate to have both a special needs trust, as I talked about in last week's episode, as well as an MiABLE account. But if you do have that special needs child that otherwise qualifies for an MiABLE account, I strongly encourage you, if you haven't already, visit the MiABLE website and get that account set up today for your special needs child. Of course, if you have any questions about what might be available to you as part of your estate plan in general for your special needs child, or obviously if you just have the need to have an estate plan put together, Amanda and I would be honored to have the opportunity to help you protect your loved ones, putting together your estate plan, amending a current plan, or assisting you in settling a loved one's estate. Simply head on over to our website, doylawpc.com. There you will find information on how you can go about scheduling virtual consultations via Zoom or telephone, or in-person consultations at either the East Lansing location or the new Grand Rapids office that has just opened. A reminder too, if all you're looking for is an individual document, let's say what you need is a new certificate of trust, I invite you, go to Doyle Law PC, check out the legal store. There's a tab that says legal store. There you're going to have the ability to order individual legal documents through the legal store. Documents can be prepared, emailed to you for you to print out at home and to have them executed. Again, all of that information is available at doylawpc.com. Well, that's going to be it for today's show. It's kind of a short program, but I want to make sure in follow-up to last week's episode about special needs trust, I spent a little bit of time today giving you some information about the MiABLE account, since that goes along with the special needs planning that you might be involved in relative to your special needs child. As always, though, if you have a comment about the program or a topic that you'd like to have me discuss, or perhaps questions that you would like to have me answered, please head on. You can send me an email, tom@tuesdaywithtom.com, or head on over to the Tuesday with Tom website. There, again, you're going to see a microphone on the homepage. Click on the microphone. You can leave me a voice message about the topic that you'd like to have me discuss, or perhaps questions that you'd like to have answered. Or if you simply have a comment about the program, and there's the ability at the new website to indicate to others what you think about the program as well. Also follow us on Facebook and follow the office on Facebook, and invite your friends and families to do so. That would be Tuesday with Tom. And the office, of course, is Doyle Law PC. Remember, too, Tuesday with Tom is available probably wherever it is that you listen to podcasts: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spreaker. Wherever it is that you're listening to podcasts, you will likely have the ability to listen to Tuesday with Tom. And you can always ask your smart speaker to record, or to play, not record, to play Tuesday with Tom. Well, thank you again for spending some of your time with us today. And as always, I hope that you have an awesome day and an awesome week in Michigan. Stay safe. Tuesday with Tom has been brought to you by the estate planning attorneys at Doyle Law PC. To learn how we can help you with your estate plan or with settling a loved one's estate, please call us today at 517-323-7366. That's 517-323-7366.